Yo, we're back. I know I did record a day late, but that don't matter. We still here, right? We still here. We still here. We still here, right? So, um, we're talking about the I know we're supposed to talk about the games of the week and everything like that, but recently started how much like the whole series as a whole, and I think that's better for me because like some of these games are kind of like the same, and it gets repetitive, and just like me when talking about repetitive things, it gets boring. I guess I can pay attention to it, but it gets kind of boring. Having to talk about the same things over and over again, so I just started talking about the series as a whole. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. So we've got so actually hold on. Let me take a look at the playoff playoff bracket from the NBA. So we got Knicks versus 76ers. The 76ers did have some chances where they did lead, or they have quite a few leads. I think they blew like a 20-point lead in one of these games. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I did always think that the Knicks were gonna win this series, right? I just didn't expect it to be in 4 games though. Fantastic. Four, that was crazy. I didn't really expect it to be in 4 games though. But it does make sense as the 76ers are just coming off a 7 game series with the Boston Celtics. But the Knicks did have a couple extra days to kind of like rest and relax because the Hawks series that the Knicks had didn't go 7 games. I mean, 6 games and 6 or 7. But the difference in that time period between the time of rest is pretty significant. I don't think people understand how important time off is for teams. And I'm not saying that was the excuse for all 4 games. I'm just saying though, like it didn't really help them though that first game because they did, so. But like I said, I didn't expect the whole series to be 4 games. I'm thinking, oh, it's probably gonna be like, a couple of games. 76ers might win a couple of games. It's gonna be like a close kind of series, and it just never really amounted to that. And I'm just like, huh. Like I'm wrong. I'm wrong quite often. Um, I will say that I am wrong quite often, and this is one of those times where I'm just like, I'm just kind of surprised to be wrong, you know. But that's how it happened, though. But moving on, we have a series that's still in progress. We have the Cavs versus the Pistons. And I will say though that in regards to the last game, yes, while the Cavs I feel like did get away with the foul, that wouldn't have happened if the Pistons hadn't collapsed in the final 2 minutes. We want to look at like, oh, the Pistons should have won that game. If they called the foul, and I'm like, yes, well, I'll be honest, that should have been a foul. That should have been a foul call. That should have been the Pistons win. The Pistons should be up 3-2. But then again, they kind of sold in the final 2 minutes, and they also sold in overtime. In overtime, they lost. They lost it. So I mean, like, I don't know what's going to do, but you just can't lose those games. But I will say this though: every game of this series has only been won by by a combined by a combined the most no, no, let me rephrase this. The most a team has won by is 10 points. The point differential, the most amount of points the team has lost by any point in this series is 10 points, right? So that's why I said that, that's why I'm saying, like, oh, if I talked about these games, it'd be repetitive because it almost always coming down to a wire with like a very, not too much point differential, like one or two, like, one or two like big mistakes and it swings one way. So it just would get repetitive. And I want to retain my viewers, I don't have many, but I want to retain the viewers that I do have, but that's neither here nor there. But as I was saying though, this series has been really great, and I do think that the Pistons should have won, but they don't. But it also goes into play that you can't sell in the final 2 minutes. And they also did lose the game in overtime too, because they did not play that good in overtime. But I do see this game going 7, and whoever wins the series, I don't know. I like if the Pistons beat the Cavs, I could see them beating the Knicks, right? That's if Jalen Duren actually plays like Jalen Duren. I've seen him be called Jalen Duren won't. Jalen Duren won't get that Supermax contract. Jalen Duren can't get that Supermax contract. And it's like, dang, bro. Like, bro was really looking at a Supermax, and then he just absolutely stunk it up in the playoffs. And I'm just like, you can't really do that as a second option on your team. You know what I mean? Like I've seen him play pretty badly. And I think even in the last game, he got benched. I think he got benched in the last game. And I'm like, as the star center of this team, as the second best player in this team, you can't. And the fact that they almost still won that game, while being hindered by Jalen Duren and being hindered by what's that dude's name? Tobias Harris doing his best Rey Mysterio. His best impression of Rey Mysterio by shooting 6 for 19. Like it's just embarrassing. Like, and I'll give you that, right? I'll give you this, that, but no matter what though, I still think that the Pistons are a very good team. I do think that they can and they will win this series. On the Cavs side, I see them winning this series if James Harden can play like regular season Harden, because James Harden is an interesting player. In the regular season, he plays great. In the postseason, though, we've seen time and time again where instead of being a playoff riser, he's a playoff faller. Like he falls to his floor, right? And his floor isn't really good. Isn't very good in the playoffs. But he does have games where he plays really good. Like I will say this, James Harden does have plenty of games where he's played phenomenal in the playoffs, but he's also had just as many of those bad games, and as great as James Harden is, you just can't have those games. So, like I said, though, to bring this all together, I do think this goes 7 games. Cavs win if James Harden doesn't play like an absolute ball, like he doesn't fall. If James Harden can play like his regular season counterpart, the Cavs are gonna win this. The Pistons win if it's not just Cade and them. If Cade can get help from Jalen Duren, Tobias Harris, get Amin Thompson, get Asar Thompson there. He may not shoot good, but get him out there, get him on, get some steals. I've seen Asar get some steals on the past couple of games. Get him on the defensive end. Get him in the lanes, get him in the dunker spots, all this. Get Paul Reed in, get Paul Reed invested, get your shooters. Dennis Jenkins has been really good. If Dennis Jenkins can get hot, They have a good chance because Dennis Jenkins, he's really good in his minutes that he does get. If Dennis Jenkins can get hot, if Tobias, like, it all works. The Pistons will win the series if anyone, if everyone can, if it's not just Cade getting hot, if Tobias Harris, if Jalen Duren can play like his regular season counterpart, if Dennis Jenkins can get hot again, if these players get hot, the Pistons have a chance. Moving on, we got San Antonio versus the Timberwolves, right? So we've had two blowouts, and then three close wins. The two blowouts happen to be in favor of San Antonio. I did think that's kind of interesting how that happens. It's kind of funny, but my thoughts going into this, were that this was going to be like a Nuggets. And this is going to be the same, a similar series to Nuggets and Timberwolves. These are two very good teams. These are two teams that are kind of evenly matched. The only difference is that what's his name? Victor, right? The only thing is the Spurs have Victor. and I'm gonna take a reference from Chris Webber. The Spurs can win if Victor Wembanyama wakes up. The Spurs can win if Victor Wembanyama gets on the team bus. The Spurs can win if Victor Wembanyama gets to shoot around. If Victor Wembanyama gets on the court for the game, the Spurs have a great chance at winning. It's as simple as that. That's how good that Victor is. If Victor wakes up, he gets on the team bus, and he participates in shoot around, and he looks good in shoot around. No hobbling or nothing. The Timberwolves, the Spurs have a good chance to win. It's just as simple as that. That's how it is for all the great players. If the team's best player can wake up, get on the team bus, participate in shoot around, and look good, that team has a high chance of winning. That's just how it is. But it's just like with Victor Wembanyama, he's such a difference maker on the offensive and defensive side. We've seen it countless times again where people will drive into the lane and they will literally go back out to the 3-point line to shoot because of how good Victor is. The Minnesota Timberwolves is the same thing with Anthony Edwards. If he wakes up, he goes on the team bus. But my thing is, if the Spurs can win, if Victor does all those three things, because I have faith in Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper. I have faith in everyone else playing good. It's just they need Victor to show up. All Victor has to do is show up. You don't even gotta do nothing crazy. Like he's just so lanky that it just seems so effortless for him. Like getting blocks is just like, it's a little swat. Like it's just nothing to him, So I have faith that all the others on that Spurs roster will show up. It's just a matter if Victor does as well. For the Timberwolves, they're a really good team, When they're at their best though, is when their bench is on. When Ayo Dosunmu is on, when Naz Reid is on, when Jalen McDaniels is on. If those three and a couple other bench players, if their bench can get on, they're a really good team. It doesn't matter if Anthony Edwards plays great. It doesn't matter if Julius Randle plays great. I've even seen Rudy play great. I slandered, not on this channel, but I've slandered Rudy so much, and he's starting to play great. But if the others on the team, like I said, Jalen McDaniels, Naz Reid, Ayo Dosunmu, who's played great and who's played really good in the playoffs, if those three and a couple others, if Uncle Mike Conley can play good, the Timberwolves have a chance. It's as simple as that. And this is, I'm gonna say this. This can be the same for almost every. It's the same for every last team, but I just felt like saying it. If the others on the team, if they show up, if they play great, then yeah, of course they're gonna win. You know why? Because they're not just relying on their star players to win. You know, you see how easy it is. You know, but it's not as easy as it may seem. You know, but like I said, I do think this goes 7 games though. I do think that the Spurs have a little bit more star power though than the Timberwolves. I do think that the Timberwolves bench is a little bit better than the Spurs. Not saying that the Spurs, but the Spurs do have a great bench though. They have not Dylan Harper, but they have that rookie, a couple of rookies, some bench players. They got a really good bench. So you know, but yeah, that's just my thing on it. I think the Spurs will win. I think, and we've seen the Spurs beat the Thunder before. So if the Spurs go up against the Thunder, I'm taking the Spurs. I'm taking the Spurs to beat. I'm taking the Spurs to beat the Thunder. And if the Spurs do end up, clutching this out and winning. Moving on. Now moving on. We have the last game of the series. We have the last game. That's what I'm talking about. OKC versus the Thunder. Yeah. Bron. Hey, Bron. He tried. Bron tried. I will say this though. Like, I think even if Luka was on the team, I will say, even if Luka was on the team, I don't think that helped the Thunder. Not the Thunder. I don't think that would have helped the what is it? The Lakers at all. Because the Thunder are such a perfectly crafted roster that even a big, I wouldn't even call it a big three, a big two of LeBron and Luka can't beat them. Because the Thunder just have so many pieces to them. It's like you chop off a hand, right? You chop off one board. You take one player. You got another player to fill, right? You got one player to step up. You take away Shea, Chet Holmgren steps up, right? You take away what's his name? You take away AJ Mitchell, right? You take away one of their bench players. Oh, their bench is weakened. You got another bench player coming in, stepping up, playing the role. It's I don't want to seem as me glazing the Thunder, but if you look at the team from top to bottom, it's one of the best crafted rosters. Not just because of who's playing, not because of who the players are. It is because of who the players are, but it's also because of the coaching, and it's also because every player knows their part, right? And every player is kind of slimmer in a way, so that if one player goes down, they already have another player similar enough to step right in and fulfill the same things. You need a defensive player. Oh, one defensive player, Lou Dort subs out. Oh, we got Alex Caruso. You need 3-point shooting. AJ Mitchell comes out, or Isaiah Joe comes out. Oh, we got what's the dude from Philadelphia? I forgot the dude's name. Hold on. Jerry McCain. Isaiah Joe or AJ Mitchell comes out. Oh, we got Jerry McCain coming back in. Oh, We got Chet Holmgren goes out. Bet we got the dude that went from the Knicks, the bright skinned dude, him, right? We got him stepping up. So it's like, even if the Lakers were to have everyone healthy on the team, there's no way that they're not taking more than just one game. Like the most that the Lakers would have taken was one game. The best that they would have done was one game. Because of how perfectly crafted the Thunder is, and I'm not trying to. And I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm glazing the Thunder, but you can go ask anyone. Hey, what do you think is the most perfectly crafted roster that's in the NBA right now? I'm like 9 times out of 10. I'm thinking that people would say the Thunder because of how if you sub one person out on that team, they have another person to sub back in that's similar in a way to them, that they fulfill some of the same duties, they can do the same things of them. It's just amazing. The only team that could really beat them realistically in a 7-game series with everyone healthy is the Spurs. So hopefully we do get that in the playoffs. But that was my talk on the NBA. Now, moving on. I don't know why I did that. Don't ask questions. I do things that don't necessarily make the most sense, but I still do them because this is where I can be me and I don't have to worry about being really judged per se. I mean, it's not like I'm doing anything crazy. We do have some WNBA. We do have some WNBA, and it's Lynx versus Wings. So this was my first taste, not my first taste of Olivia Miles in basketball, but my first taste of Olivia Miles in the WNBA. I think I talked about. I think this is my second time watching AZ Flood in the WNBA. She didn't really play much in that game though. I don't think I talked about it, but this is my second time watching these two players, and I don't think I didn't really see AZ out there like that. Like I remember watching the game. I know she hit a three. I'm for sure. She hit a three at one point. She might have hit a three. But no, she didn't hit a three. Never mind. She did score 8 points though, but she only played 20 minutes, and she's only averaging. Now I want to talk about this real quick. Why is AZ Flood only playing 20 minutes? Why she? I feel like why she should be in the starting lineup. I really feel like, you know, because I know because they made a big deal out of AZ in the pregame show because it was on Prime, right? And I remember they were talking about a 52 action, right? I really forgot what exactly they were talking. I forgot what the visual was, but they were talking about a 52 action to get AZ moving, to get AZ in space, to get her off strength, off the dribble, all these different things to get AZ the ball. And then she only plays 20 minutes and only scores 8 points. And I'm just like, huh? Like, you know what I mean? Like, she played 20 minutes. And in their first game of the season against the Fever, she only played 18 minutes. And I'm just very confused by it because I'm like, that's the number one pick, or the number one and number two pick, I think. And she's only playing 20 minutes. And again, why she not in the starting lineup? Talking about Olivia Miles, no, I thought she did phenomenal. Um, I was very impressed with her. You know, I've already seen a lot of her in March and in college basketball, so I knew that she would, transfer pretty well. I think she's on a really good roster in the Minnesota Lynx. Especially when Nafisa Collier comes back, bro. When Nafisa Collier comes back, bro, that's gonna be a dangerous team, man. Um, so I think that's gonna be interesting, and but overall though, as a game, I was really invested in the game, because it never seemed like one team was really gonna pull away. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was watching, I was like kind of washing dishes, with during part of it. So I was trying to pay attention, also washing dishes, and I did catch a lot of it. I did catch the majority of it. I did catch the ending of it and everything like that. But I was very impressed by how both teams played. I thought both teams played really well. Um, like I said, this is my first really taste of the Minnesota Lynx this year, and I'm more locked in on WNBA more recently, especially this year. I'm gonna be locked in, since getting a Peacock and Prime. Um, I'm really excited. One more thing about the WNBA, I'm really excited to see the Washington Mystics. They're not my set in stone team, right? But like the thing is, they are the closest team to me. But then again, I am a Cowboys fan. I live in Virginia. But that's because that's because my mom and then my grandfather were Cowboys fans. A lot of people around me are Cowboys fans as well. But not many people around me actually watch the Washington Mystics. So I'm just kind of making this decision based based on me. And, I really became a fan of the Mystics. I'm really a fan of a lot of teams, but I'm really a fan of the Mystics, because I saw them play last year. I saw Kiki Area Fan, Sonya Citron, all of them. I saw them last year. I'm like, oh, this is a really good team. And then I saw some of the Washington Mystics, in Unrivaled. They had Shook Sutton in there as well. I saw them a lot in Unrivaled. So I'm like, okay, this is a really good team. So I think I'm gonna be a fan of the Washington Mystics, honestly. But I will probably have jerseys of other teams as well. But my main team, my team is probably gonna be Washington Mystics, and I'm kind of really excited about that because I'm really excited to kind of be able to catch a Washington Mystics game, because I want to see how the team plays. I want to see how this new look team plays, especially with what's the girl's name? Georgia Amore from Kentucky, from previously at Virginia Tech, because she was injured like that all last year, and she didn't really get to play. So I'm really excited to see how she fits onto the team and everything like that. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, that's the episode, and I'll see y'all next time. I promise next week, or hopefully I'll be here on time next week. Yeah, in the coming weeks, so depending on how things go, because I am looking for a job, videos may start coming out less and less because I start working. So yeah, just wish me luck in the job search, and I'll let y'all know what happens. So, but until next time, I'm Chase Goins. This is Ball. Peace.